The great Diana Ross and Shade Reaction. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for all the messages. And I'll be back with you, well, tomorrow on BBC One Television, Bargain Hunt. And, of course, on Sound of the 60s on Saturday at 6 in the morning. And another golden hour next Sunday already. I'm looking forward to it. You have a lovely evening, won't you? Ken Bruce coming up next. Stay tuned to this station, won't you? This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker, and on 88 to 91 FM. Bye-bye.
BBC News at 8 o'clock. This is Sally Johnson. Sources close to the Conservative leadership candidate Penny Mordaunt says she's spoken to Boris Johnson, who asked her to withdraw from the race and back him. Ms Mordaunt is said to have rejected the proposal. So far, 57 MPs have publicly backed Mr Johnson. He needs to reach 100 by tomorrow to enter the race. The MP for Peterborough, Paul Bristow, says some of his colleagues backing Mr Johnson can't say that publicly.
Several of them are whips, and that means you have to be neutral during this contest. We have to have a functioning government. Several of them are also on the executive of the 1922 committee, the people who are coming up with the rules to do this, and so it wouldn't be right for them to openly declare. I'm confident Boris has got the numbers. I'm confident Boris will be in this contest and in it to win it.
The current frontrunner in the Conservative leadership contest is the former Chancellor Rishi Sunak. He's been backed by 146 MPs. The leader of the Commons, Penny Mordaunt, is on 24. Opposition parties have stepped up their calls for an early general election. The Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, has described the Tory leadership contest as a ridiculous, chaotic circus, taking place while millions of people are struggling to pay their bills. For the SNP, Scotland's Deputy First Minister, John Sweeney, said the Conservatives needed to realise they were no longer fit to govern.
Why should the Conservative Party be able to continue this set of games that they've been playing where one of them takes over and then they undermine the next person? We've had David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and now the Conservative Party thinks it's their plaything to decide who the next Prime Minister should be. The people of this country should take part in an election and decide how this country should be governed.
Salman Rushdie's agent says the writer has lost his sight in one eye and the use of one hand after he was repeatedly stabbed at an event in New York State 2 months ago. Andrew Wiley described his wounds as profound, with 3 of them being to the neck and 15 to his chest and torso. The author received a death fatwa from Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini, who in 1989 over his novel The Satanic Verses. In the Premier League, the leaders, Arsenal, have dropped points for only the second time this season. They drew 1-1 with Southampton. Tottenham also dropped points, failing to win a home league game for the first time since April. They were beaten 2-1 by Newcastle. Their head coach, Eddie Howe, was delighted.
I couldn't look at the squad any more favourably at the minute in terms of what they're giving me. You know, the effort and commitment that they're delivering on a consistent basis is fantastic, and the feeling in the group, just left the changing room now, and the group is really together and pulling in the same direction, and I think that's showing in the performances.
Aston Villa beat Brentford 4-0 and Wolves lost to Leicester with the same score. Fulham were 3-2 winners at Leeds. The weather, there'll be more showers for many overnight. That's the BBC News. It's now 3 minutes past 8.
Saturday mornings from 10. I'm entering a whole new world and I'm into it. On BBC Radio 2.
You are through to the king, Hugh Fernley-Whittingstall.
If you asked what my news at 10 was this morning, I would say it was speaking to Hugh.
Oh,
that's lovely.
Welcome, Caleb Cooper. What is in your freezer, Caleb?
In my freezer's normally...
Hold on. Caleb, stop where you are. Where are you, Hannah?
Oh, sorry, I'm in a cowshed.
What do you mean a